Coach, thank you for coming in.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you. Doing well, doing well. Tomorrow night, would it be better to be facing Smith or facing maybe tomorrow at Grimsley?
You know, I've been asked that question all day long. Who I'd rather play, and right now it doesn't matter to me. You know, we played Grimsley 3 times and beat them. It's hard beating somebody 3 and 4 times, but it really doesn't matter.
Is it any different being at Southeast? Is what it would be like being at Dudley? Any difference there?
Well, the atmosphere is a lot different.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll say this, and I'm going to jump in. I'm a famous person for jumping in when people are talking, but it kind of gets my attention. The lighting in that place is a little bit different for me. I don't know what it is. I'm looking around the Southeast. It must be kind of the gray background paint on those walls, but the lighting, when you got to get used to it, it's kind of dark when you first go in there.
The lighting is different in there, but, you know, the main thing I look at is the atmosphere. The atmosphere is not like Dudley. Dudley has the best atmosphere in the state of North Carolina, I think.
It's got a great gym. I saw a photo somewhere on Twitter today. You look at that Dudley gym, you got an upper level, you got a lower level, and on big nights, they're coming at you from all directions.
Yeah, you know what? When I walk in that place and it's empty, and I just imagine how all the people coming in, I just imagine, you know, the people being in there and the band is playing, cheerleaders are cheering. You know, it's a great atmosphere.
A lot of good elements in that atmosphere, like I say, in that gym. I remember some nights when Dudley played Smith back in the day. I remember all the way back they played one night they played Walker, Holt, and Grimsley back in the old days over there, and playing Smith over there. I mean, man, that place is packed. You can't move in that place.
Yeah, I remember back in the day too when we used to play them, and we used to have a sellout crowd and standing room only.
It's still the same today, but it's still a little bit different. What's different about today, you think? All high school basketball seems a little different today.
It's a little different. We don't get the same players that we used to have. You know, private schools are getting a lot of our kids, and that's what it is now.
You've done a pretty good job this year keeping most guys, right? Didn't lose too much from this past year, I wouldn't think.
Well, you know, and we're trying to build it up to where it was, but it's kind of tough. I'm trying, you know, everybody wants me to be like Coach Price, and, you know, and he's a legendary coach, but I'm trying to, you know, do it kind of my way.
Man too. You have to.
A little bit of my way.
You have to do it your own way, because if you don't, at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy with what you're doing.
Exactly. But, you know, sometimes I always do some of the stuff that he does, especially with the discipline. The man is a legendary coach, but you got to take a little bit from him.
Exactly. And you look at some of the guys who were there one time together back in the day. You think about Reggie Dillard, think about P.J. Harrison, Jaquel Richmond. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
You know, I talk to Coach Price a lot, and we always talk about the old times and how good we were back then and how much fun we had coaching those guys.
I still remember that dunk that Jaquel Richmond as a freshman. He's on the left side, he's spun around the right side. That was about the best dunk I may never forget over there.
Yeah, you know, he's my cousin, and I wish that he could have stayed at Dudley, but they chose to go other places.
Sometimes they move on, too. You don't hear as much about them when they move on down the road for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either, but, you know, with our guys, I try to stay in contact with them, and I try to, you know, put it out there what they're doing.
What you're doing as far as it goes, you mentioned you beat Grimsley, 3 times?
3 times.
Split with Smith.
Yep.
And the battles were good. But the defense you played against Grimsley that night at Grimsley, beat somebody like that on their home court that first quarter, that's enough to make anybody shake in their boots.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm trying to get back to that. It's hard playing. Nobody wants to play defense. Nobody wants to play defense. Everybody wants to play offense. It's like your son, Breon.
He's point guard. He's got to run the show. He's got to turn around and play defense like on Overton. That's a tough assignment because that guy's not going to have anything dry on his uniform at all playing that night.
Yeah, Breon is a tough kid, and I kind of raised him like that, and he'll take on anybody. He'll take on a 7-footer.
You have to have a little bit of a street mentality.
You have to. But he did well last night on Overton. I think Overton scored 2 points against him.
Early in the game, it was not much scored by Overton at all. He did score some late, but not much early at all.
Yeah, Hendon guarded him in the beginning. Hendon did a superb job on the beginning, but he got in foul trouble, and then I had to put Breon on.
And you think about the game last night, too. It comes to Overton. I mean, sometimes he's helping you as far as your defense goes because you figure out where he's going to go to that basket almost every time. It's going to be a solo dribble drive to the bucket.
Yeah, you know what? And when we played him the first time at our place, he took the ball from baseline to baseline, and you couldn't stop him. He's 6'6", 210 pounds, and that's kind of hard to stop when the guy's coming to you like that.
How about that Mount Tabor game? How'd you get that out of your system, 91-54? People see that and just start thinking, what was going on that night? But again, some nights on a Thursday, that's probably a makeup game. You may not have played it all if not for the makeup system, but you play it, you got to get it out of your system.
You know what? I told our players that that's a fun game. We need to worry about Southeast, which is our next game. Southeast gave us a scare over there.
They sure did.
And, you know, that's kind of how we wanted to win, but also I was trying to save our guys' legs, so we subbed a whole lot, and the game got kind of out of control.
It's part of your strategy that night then.
Yeah, the guys got out of control, but, you know, maybe down the line we'll see those guys again.
That was a road game?
Yes, it was a road
That's
game.
a good experience, too, because you go to Mount Tabor. They've got all their fans. That's a tight place. That's like a box inside that place, and it kind of goes up in the air quite a bit, kind of a single-level box.
Yeah, it is. That's a tough play, tough atmosphere to play in, and that Coach Muse does a wonderful job in coaching. You know, they were ready for it. They even had senior night on us, and I'm like, we normally for a makeup game, and I'm like, you only have senior night when you're playing a conference game,
right,
but
exactly.
And they wanted to beat us real bad, and I know they did.
It's a good game for you though, because you could take that in stride, knowing how you strategize that game, playing a lot of subs, keeping fresh legs for the next night, and use that as a good experience game for the playoffs down the road, because that's the kind of games you see later on.
Yeah, it is, and then like I told our team, we had to sub a lot, and Southeast gave us a scare at their place, and I wanted to save our legs because I knew we played the next day, and that would have been 2 games in a row.
Yeah, it'd be tough too. You don't go into Mount Tabor putting all the focus on that game, but you do, like you say, got to put the focus on the Southeast, because that was you got to win that game that night.
Yep, got to win the conference. We would have lost against Southeast. We'd probably been second.
It might have been a 4-way tie.
It would have been a 3-way tie, I believe.
Yeah, because I know coming out of that thing that night over here at Grimsley, Smith beat Grimsley, and then Page, I think, was down 1 game below that, because Max Prex had the conference records wrong.
Right.
Page had 4 losses, 3 losses each for Smith and Grimsley, and you guys only had the 1.
Yeah, probably a 4-way tie. So it was important, very vital that we win that game.
A big win for you coming out against Southeast, and a big game tomorrow night. What would it mean for the team to win the Metro 4A Conference Championship for this 2016?
Well, like I tell the guys, we won one goal at a time. We won the conference, which is good. We want to win the conference tournament, then we win the sectionals, then win the regional state championships. If we can do that, taking small steps, I think we'll be okay.
Especially because you had to start kind of slow, because you're grabbing the honeymoon after the football season, got to get those guys ready. And they're playing pretty crisp, right? They were playing crisp. That was a fast-paced game last night.
Yeah, that's our game. We want to try to push it. We want to try to push it, push the tempo. And I think Breon is doing a wonderful job of pushing the ball and trying to fight everybody.
Court vision.
He sacrificed a whole lot. Last year, he averaged probably about 16 points in the conference. This year, he averaged about 10 points. And I told him I wanted him to spread the ball out a lot this year because we got a lot of schools.
You got Brandon on board. You got Josh Hopkins on board. Aaron Thomas surprised people. Like Aaron Thomas have a big game, too, for you. And even Shaheem Cooper off the bench. He's your best bench scorer. Probably he's going to get 10 points in about a 3-minute stretch down the road if he has a chance.
Right. Like I told you, Brandon is doing a wonderful job. He had a great game last night. And he's one of our better players.
He cares too.
He does care.
He's concerned about how he plays, what he does, what his team does.
He's very hard on himself, and very humble kid. He works extremely hard.
Like a piece of clay. That guy's in the molding stage right now. That's the kind of guy, very coachable, I would think.
Very, very coachable, and he's going to be a good player for us probably in the next
What's been
future.
the best basketball day of your life going back, even when you were a kid? Said, man, if I could get this junk out of my mind, forget Mount Tabor on this Thursday night, I lost that. Go back to that one day and do it again. What was the best basketball day ever for you?
The best basketball day is when probably when I played in the Little Four. We played against Greensboro Day when I played. We played Page and we beat Page, and we had to play Greensboro Day in the finals. And I was thinking that I really wanted to win the Little Four because I hadn't won it before, playing for Coach Hankins, Steve Hankins, and we won that ball game, and then we took off from there. We was undefeated going into the Little Four.
Wow! Did you win the MVP?
Yeah, I was the MVP
I saw
of that game.
In the program somewhere. You got the MVP.
Yeah,
It
did feel good, and then that was the very first time in high school that I had got MVP for anything.
That felt good. And you can use that in the coaching part too. And that's probably one of the things, maybe they all talk about the old key word for the glossary, the word impetus. Not so much impetus to get you back in that tournament, but you had some good experiences, so you wanted to get back in that tournament.
Right. I really wanted to get back in the Little Four, and especially for the community. It's big for the community. My mom wanted me to get back in there, and the people at Dudley wanted me to get back in there, and a lot of this fan base wanted us to get in there. They want us to win. Unfortunately, we came up short.
Not too bad your first year back.
Not too bad. Third place is not too bad. We could have been in the finals. We came up short against Northwest.
I tell you played them pretty well too.
Yeah, we did. The last 3 or 4 minutes, we lost the ball game.
And that was just legs giving out, not having the basketball legs under you.
Yeah, and then, you know, some mental mistakes what we made, and, you know, we fixed it.
What about the ego check in basketball? Remember the one time, maybe recent days, or maybe when your earlier days at one time, things are going all of a sudden, man, brick wall, man, I got to get humble here. I got to get back in this game.
Been there, done that. You know, with our guys, we try to stay humble, and you know, sometimes, you know, they're kids. They'll go off on a turn and they try to do their own thing. Then you got to reel them back in. It happens like that all the time.
Well, listen, wish you good luck tomorrow night. I know you guys got to move out of that before 7. Thank you, Coach. Spur a moment coming in. Coach Seagraves, Brian Seagraves, Dudley. We'll see them down at Southeast tomorrow night. Thank you, Coach. Brandon Lambert, thank you.